This week's chapter is called Recovering a Sense of Identity, and let me read you the little thing next to the week 2 descriptions. This week addresses self-definition as a major component of creative recovery. You may find yourself drawing new boundaries and staking out new territories as your personal needs, desires, and interests announce themselves. The essays and tools are aimed at moving you into your personal identity, a self-defined you. Really interesting. Trusting our creativity is a new behavior for many of us. It may feel quite threatening initially, not only to us, but also to our intimates. We may feel and look erratic. This erraticism is a normal part of getting unstuck, pulling free from the muck that has blocked us. It is important to remember that the first flush, going sane, feels just like going crazy. Okay, so it's really interesting because this week she talks about going sane, and as a creative individual, I know exactly what she's talking about this erratic feeling. And as someone who works hard to be a productive member of society, I have worked very hard to squash that feeling down and kind of drown that inner erratic person. And I'm realizing that that probably hasn't been great for me. Just the fear of judgment from other people makes me not do things that I really want to do. And so I just kind of stifle my inner erratic lady, and honestly, I'm trying to just give crazy old lady vibes. I'm really trying to live my best erratic old woman life, and this chapter has fully given me permission to do that.
Dear God.
This week in the chapter, Julia Cameron, the author, talks about this thing called poisonous playmates, and it was so interesting because I never had a name for it, but I knew exactly what she was talking about. I think most of us have probably had this at one point or another. You know, they're those friends that it just feels like they're never really happy for you when you're doing good things. You tell them you're doing something well, you're really excited about something, or just something that's really important to you, and they just find a way to really crush your soul and try to knock you down a peg. These are people that we want to be really conscious of when we have them in our lives. If you're on a journey of getting unblocked, which is the whole point of this course is getting creatively unblocked, it's really, really detrimental for you to be around people or to share your creative endeavors with people who are actively working to cut you down and keep you blocked. We've all encountered people like that in our lives, like the friend where it's okay that you're doing well just as long as you're not doing better than them, or they're never really excited about your project that you're working on, or they have to poke holes in any idea that you come up with, and not in a way where it's oh, well, okay, but have you thought about this being an issue? Not in a productive way that's helpful, in a way where it's they're trying to drill holes in your ship and sink your ship, man. And I have had a ton of those kinds of people in my life, and most of them are gone at this point. I feel like I've actually done quite a good job of weeding them out, but there are some people in my life that do things like that, and I don't think that they mean to, but that's just how they are, and it's just made me be aware of maybe the fact that I need to be a little more careful about what parts of my work I share with these people if I'm not ready for what they have to say. So there's somebody in my life who every time I come up with an idea or something that I'm really passionate about, when I share it with them, they just have this way of saying something incredibly hurtful. And I love this person a lot, and I love having them in my life. I'm never gonna cut them out. But one time I was oh, I'm really excited. I'm gonna take piano lessons. I'm starting piano lessons. I'm really excited about it. That's been really important to me for a long time. And they literally looked me in the eye and said, "That's so stupid. Why would you do that?" And it's I really think that I'm gonna tell this person my biggest fears and dreams and all the things that I'm working on, and they're gonna act that way, and I'm gonna still feel good about doing it? No! So this chapter has really brought to my attention how important it is that I protect my little inner genius, at least right now while they're healing, from just people who are trying to tear me down, even if they have great intentions, and I invite you to do the same. Not in a toxic, let's just cut everybody out of our lives kind of a way. God, no, let's not do that. But let's just be a little bit more aware of who we are sharing our dreams and passions with while they're still in a very delicate phase. But what was crazy about seeing these poisonous playmates was me realizing that I have totally been one in the past. And I don't know that I've done that with my friends, but it's that thing where sometimes if you're out in public and you see a stranger just kind of not really doing anything bad, but just kind of wilding out, being a little bit erratic and living their best life and judging that person. I have completely done that, absolutely. And realizing that that is a really good signal to me that I am jealous and afraid. And I totally have been in the past. I'm guilty of this, and I totally see it, and it's the most basic thing. And that's something I realized this week is how much I have like lived my life and like steered my little life ship. We're really going with boat metaphors this week, okay? Steered my little ship like just based on like feeling jealous and afraid, and I'm not really trying to live the rest of my life that way. I mean, let's be honest, we've all done this. Like, we've all totally been a poisonous playmate at one point or another, and if you haven't, good for you, Mother Teresa, thank you so much for watching. But yeah, it's just jealousy. And the thing about this and like how it's just like reflecting back to me like my areas of growth, it's so funny to me because I'm like, oh my god, I've done so much therapy and this is like literally so basic and like not like a crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a mind-blowing realization that's like from so like some like crazy far away land. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm projecting my insecurities onto other people. Okay, hi, therapy day one. But I've noticed a couple things. So as I have started working to judge people less, which is something that I've been in the process of doing for the last couple years, I have allowed myself more freedom because I judge myself less and I care less if other people are judging me. I am more free to like live my best little life, live my most like true self, and just follow things that make me really excited, that like light me up, follow my passions and my dreams. And that's really what I'm trying to do in life. I think that I am going to consciously work to have more of an eyes on my own paper kind of approach to existing, because I've just wasted so much energy being a poisonous playmate for other people. And I don't care. I don't care what you're doing. If you're doing something great and you're having the time of your life, I want to hear about it. But I need to stop looking and seeing what other people are writing on like the multiple choice, you know, like just Helen, girl, eyes on your own paper, focus on yourself. My god. And actually doing things that I'm excited about and I'm passionate about is kind of terrifying because I know that people will judge me and people will probably say things like, wow, why does she need so much attention? That's so cringy. Why is she doing this? Oh my god, how embarrassing. And I don't care. I mean, I actually really do care, but like I don't want to care, so I'm just gonna pretend like I don't care and carry on with my merry little life, you know? Because at the end of the day, we're just really on a floating rock and nothing matters. And that thought has occurred to me several times this week and it's been very freeing, so I'm trying to lean into that. But Julia Cameron has a phrase that she tosses off in this chapter and I love it. And she says, give yourself the gift of faith. And I'm like, damn, okay, I love that. I'm giving myself the gift of faith in myself, and that means that I will be working to actualize my full potential, which is terrifying. And let's be clear that I am not doing this in like a girl boss gaslight gatekeep kind of a way, but more in a way that's just like, I'm trying to not self-sabotage every good thing that I have going on in my life, which I do frequently, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And this is interesting because this is another thing I've been thinking about a lot this week is like people who don't try. And it really makes sense to me, and it's kind of a symptom of fear. I saw this all the time in music school, this idea that, well, if I don't try, then like that kind of keeps me safe. If I fail because I only put in 50% effort, it's okay. It's kind of like protects you because you know that you didn't really fail because you didn't really try. In some ways it hurts less to have people reject your like half-assed piece of work than to have people reject something that you like poured your heart and soul into and worked really hard on. I feel like if you're even remotely in any kind of a creative field, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't do this a ton in my musical life, but I have seen myself do that in my personal life and just in other areas of my life, and it's crazy. Like, I realized how blocked I am creatively and also just like how much I work to kind of keep myself blocked, because the idea of being blocked is like kind of safe. Like, it's not fulfilling, it's not exciting, but I at least know what to expect. An open, unblocked, truly free life is kind of scary, and I'm not really sure that I'm ready for it. But honestly, which one is scarier, getting unblocked or living the rest of my life for people that I don't really know or care about and just constantly being afraid that people are gonna judge me, and then one day it's the last day of my life and I realize that like I never actually did anything that mattered to me, and I never worked to like meet any of my dreams or like make the things I'm passionate about come true. So let's not let that happen. It makes sense to me that I had so many realizations this week because somehow the universe just gave me a ton of space to like contemplate and realize things. So I had people cancel lessons this week left and right. It was absolutely unhinged. And honestly, I'm kind of grateful that I had like the extra space. Medical issues that I've been having have also made me decide that it is time for me to like slow my roll and chill the heck out. So, you know, some nice things that I did this week were I didn't take anything off my plate, but I also have made a conscious decision not to put anything else on my plate right now. I feel better. I'm less stressed. I have a cleaner home. I think honestly, just like deciding to take care of myself has really translated to me caring for my space, because I've realized how important it is to me that I live in a space that I love, that I feel good in, that I'm really happy in. And that's been amazing. This week, thanks to this course, I have worked really hard to kind of like romanticize my life, which sounds so corny and so cheesy, but it's true, and it's been really, really nice. And honestly, just like trying to make things just like 10% nicer when I'm doing them. And so for me, sometimes that looks like taking a second to light a candle before I go sit down and read or do work or relax, or like putting on some nice lighting so that I can just like have like a cute little aesthetic space to vibe in. It's been really nice. I even like went to work somewhere that like wasn't here, and it was amazing. And I did that a couple times this week, and I will be doing that. Maybe I need to set as a goal of doing that at least like twice a week. I think that would make my life so much better. That would be amazing if I like actually went somewhere, like took my bag, packed it with like my laptop, my iPad, and just like whatever I needed to do some work, and then went off on a little adventure and got things done. I feel so much more inspired, so much more excited and interested in my work when I do that, and it's really, really nice. And I mean, I have a job where it's really easy for me to go a whole week without leaving the house. Making a real effort to go explore and like give myself exciting new workplaces and environments is really cool, and I will definitely be doing more of that in the future because I loved it this week. Y'all, Julia Cameron really called me out in a way that was brutal and a little bit unhinged this week. So she says, let me just read you the call out. I like read this and my heart stopped. Okay. Here we go. Very often, a creative block manifests itself in an addiction to fantasy. Rather than working or living the now, we spin our wheels and indulge in daydreams of could have, would have, should have. Girl, it really would have felt less personal if she had just like wrote my bank routing number, SSN, date of birth, mother's like maiden first and last, and like my full name in the book. That would have felt like less of a personal call out. I am so guilty of this. There are so many dreams that I know that I have that I just haven't taken any action towards, and instead I just like kind of sit there dreaming and being like, oh my god, I wish I could do that. And this has been kind of like a crazy year of me finally being like, enough is enough. I want to take action on these things. But that was more of a subconscious decision. And so now Julia really calling me out like that on page 52, I'm gonna be more intentional about this. I think I have decided that every time I catch myself just kind of like sitting there dreaming, waiting, wishing, I'm gonna do something tangible to get myself just like a step closer to whatever I am dreaming of or whatever my big goals are. I do this all of the time, and it's so unhelpful. It can be good in realizing like, oh, I didn't realize that was a dream of mine. Maybe that's worth pursuing. But when you're sitting there for the 50th time thinking, God, it would be really nice if I could be like a pianist and like be a competent pianist and play piano, maybe it's time to sign up for lessons, girl. Which thank God I finally did. But again, it's this thing where like, it's scary to realize your full potential. And I think deep down, just from my childhood, I have this weird belief that has been instilled in me that just like, I don't deserve good things. And so I think that's where my self-sabotaging comes from. Like, just like this feeling of like, I'm not good enough, and then doing things to like actively improve my life and my state completely like conflicts with that belief. And I am holding on to it with like white knuckles, like this tight grip. And I am ready to let go. And I understand that that's gonna be kind of a process, but at least I realize that I am like holding on to this crazy core belief. And so hopefully I can loosen my grip at least a little bit over the course of this 12-week program. It's scary, like what's gonna happen if I take responsibility for my life and work to actually realize my dreams? Probably a lot of like cool, amazing stuff. And if you don't believe that you deserve cool, amazing stuff, you're not gonna do it. But screw that. So I'm gonna do things to give myself my best little cool, amazing life. So I'm gonna practice piano. I'm not ghosting friends. Do we all do this? Do we all wish we had more friends? And then as soon as we get like amazing friends, we ghost them? I'm totally guilty of this, and I think it's just self-sabotage. I am actually making videos. Y'all, I have wanted to have a YouTube channel for so long, and it felt like such a silly dream and so like arrogant and cringy, and girl, now here we are, and it's amazing. I'm having the time of my life. And to all of you who have subscribed and liked my content, thank you so much. It means the world to me, and I really appreciate the support, and I'm loving doing this. So more coming soon. Yeah, I'm making a commitment to like meet new people, do things that fill my cup. I'm working out, I'm feeding myself well, I am resting. And this week I did all of that, and it felt amazing, and I had one of the best weeks that I have had in a long time. It's probably not a coincidence. This week and every day going forward, we're taking care of ourselves. We are not self-sabotaging. We are doing good things for ourselves because we are good people that deserve wonderful things in life. And every time I catch myself dreaming, I'm doing something tangible. Yes, this has just been such a wonderful realization, and I can see how this is really going to get me unblocked and get me to my like happy little Mary Tyler Moore throwing her hat in the street kind of a life. So this week's chapter also includes the rules of the road, which I would like to read to you now. The rules of the road. 1. Show up at the page, use the page to rest, to dream, to try. They're talking about morning pages. Fill the well by caring for my artist. Set small and gentle goals and meet them. Pray for guidance, courage, and humility. Remember that it is far harder and more painful to be a blocked artist than it is to do the work. Be alert, always, for the presence of the great creator leading and helping my artist. Choose companions who encourage me to do the work, not just talk about doing the work or why I'm not doing the work. Remember that the great creator loves creativity. Remember that it is my job to do the work, not to judge the work. Place this sign in my workplace. Great creator, I will take care of the quantity, you take care of the quality. I really liked these. The two that really like stuck out to me and kind of struck me were number 3, set small and gentle goals and meet them. And this I was like, oh my god, this is just me showing how much I self-sabotage again. Like I have so many goals and things that I'm working on, and I notice that when I get close to achieving a goal, I will completely abandon it. Like I am so terrified of actually achieving things. It's crazy that I've ever gotten anything done in my life with how much self-sabotage there is constantly going on behind the scenes. The other thing that was really interesting was remembering that it's my job to do the work and not to judge the work. And how many times have we all just like not given ourselves even a hint of a chance to succeed because we are so busy judging the work that we did. So no more judging our first, second, third, or 100th draft. Just do the work. I love this idea that Julia Cameron has that I'm in charge of the quantity and like the universe is in charge of the quality. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this week for the artist's date, I went and I got a massage, and I'm realizing that that was probably not a great artist's date, but oh well, we tried it, we failed, it was fine, it was okay. I did my morning pages every day this week. It was great, I enjoyed it. I really like having some space for myself in the mornings just to like start the day with me, because I am very guilty of starting the day with my phone, and then it just feels like the start of my day is completely out of my control, and there's nothing worse than starting the day by reading a rejection letter and then the news. So I don't recommend that to anyone. Morning pages is great. So here are the activities that I did and kind of like what I learned this week. So as I have said in the previous videos, every week's module has activities that accompany that chapter. So here are some of the ones I did this week. So one of the activities was list 20 things you enjoyed doing. It was funny, I realized that like I need to try more things because it was really hard for me to come up with 20 things that I like. But of the 20 things, I circled the ones that I haven't done in a really long time, and I think those are gonna make great artists' dates in the future. Then we did the life pie, y'all. This one called me out. Julia Cameron was really like taking no prisoners when she wrote the week 2 chapter. Oh my god. So basically you make a circle, you divide it into 6 sections. Every section gets titled like a different area of your life, and then you like fill in based on how fulfilled you are in that area. So the 6 that Julia Cameron recommends and that I used were spirituality, exercise, work, friends, romance, and play. And wow, I was like really full in work and exercise. I did okay in spirituality, and I basically just decided like I would like to pray more often. I think that would be nice. I realized I desperately need to play more. Play is like so important to being creative and just being human, and I don't really do it. So definitely going to find some ways for me to do that this week. And then I need to spend more time with friends. I don't know, I haven't prioritized that recently. I'm kind of doing a lot of vocal rest recently. So it's been a little tricky having a social calendar and also doing that. But I think as that winds down, being more conscious of making time to spend with people I care about. And then when it said working on my romantic life, I was like, girl, listen, I'm working on it. It's not necessarily coming along in the way that I would prefer, but we are putting in some effort. So hopefully that will pay off at some point. Because right now it's going kind of like... Another activity was 10 tiny changes. So you just write 10 small changes that you'd like in your life. And it was a little bit tricky, but I think I did find some things that would be like pretty easy to change and that I would like to pursue. So maybe week 3, you'll hear about some of those. This week was just full of really good realizations for myself, and I think that it's clear what like direction I need to kind of head in over the next week. And I'm really loving this course so far. For week 3, one thing about week 2 is during the middle of the week, I kind of like forgot about doing activities and things like that. So week 3, I think I'm going to pick somewhere in my home where I can set myself a visual reminder. I love like a checklist or something like that, so that I can make sure that I am being consistent with all of the work and do it like evenly throughout the week instead of just kind of like cramming on both sides of it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. But that's it for me this week. Thank you so much. Bye.